There we go. All right, so I'm placing my hands on my heart, taking in that deep breath of love and gratitude. So grateful for this time to come together, to be the two or more who are gathered in the name and the nature of love. Grateful to be able to dedicate ourselves to shining the light on any and all blocks to love, to healing all of those blocks back to the root cause, back to the core, so that we never have to experience them again. And we're grateful that with that we can bless everyone as we share those blessings with all. We're grateful to be able to hold our beautiful sister Deborah in love and prayers, knowing that healing is happening now, that she is surrounded and enfolded by the love of God, that each and every person that is caring for her is the hand of God. We're grateful for all of our teachers, both here on the earth plane and in the heavenly realms. We ask them to surround and support us all now, leading us and guiding us and blessing us, blessing this call, blessing all who will listen later. And we're grateful to share those blessings and our life of love with everyone because we're one with them. In grace and gratitude, we let it be, and so it is. Amen. All right. So we're still in chapter 11. We're doing section 7, which was very short, but full. The condition of reality. Would someone like to begin our sharing? Go ahead, Carla.
Okay, well, I haven't been here for a couple weeks, but I just woke up at 8 o'clock and like an hour ago, and I hadn't read it yet. And I just read, I looked in the group and I saw the condition of reality, and I realized that is what has been happening to me. That's what happens to all of us all the time, that we think it's something else, and it seems like the first line in each paragraph, there's only 4, really spoke to me. But I'll start with the first one. The world as you perceive it cannot have been created by the Father, for the world is not as you see it. So that is really what I've been experiencing with the appearance. Seems with the breaking the ankle and the experience and everything, going to the hospital, the ER, and seeming misdiagnosis, and have an operation later, and being very challenged by that. That I knit this life, I can't remember other lives, but I've allowed the ego mind to offer me meanings of things. And I'm pretty sure, but I'm done with that. I feel I can feel even now speaking this, that the ego is telling me something. And I didn't even read the thing. I just read the title, The Condition of Reality. It's always truth, however it appears, and the mind wants to give it meaning, and I get gotten caught up in that, and I'm sure it'll happen more again once in a while. I mean, it's so interesting living in the world where, in this appearance of a world where a lot of people believe the meaning the mind gives them. And that is a condition of reality that I see more clearly, that whatever is happening is for my good and for the good of all. And we go, oh, I'm sorry, I heard it. I mean, not this bad. I know it's love. They're concerned. They're doing their best to express kindness. I'm sorry you broke your ankle. I'm sorry you had that experience. I'm sorry. I am not sorry. I'm never going to be sorry again. This whole experience has shifted me to a new awareness. I woke up from the operation like, ooh, goodness, I'm still here in a body. Because that's all this is. It's just an experience for me to learn the condition of reality, truth, love. So, thank you.
Thank you, Carla. Yeah, the condition of reality. It's always helpful, but it's not always fun.
And who isn't it fun to? It's not fun to the ego.
Mhm.
That I am, doesn't judge it. So I'm learning that. It's been practicing that and seeing that the oh, I don't like this. This is hard. They're all just thoughts offered to me by the ego because it doesn't want truth to be in my awareness.
Yeah, thank you for that distinction. Who else has something they'd like to share? Go ahead, Christine.
Hi, everybody. For people who are going to listen later, this is Christine. Yeah, this reading couldn't be more perfect for me this week. I've been rereading The Disappearance of the Universe. I was prompted to do so, and it's been a huge shift and awakening again for me, because I'm catching all the stuff I missed the first time around that I wasn't able to take in. And so this really is quite something. For me, anyways, I'm experiencing. So as I continue to kind of lean into understanding better that the world is an illusion and that we are one and that there is nobody else, I'm waking up to this other world. I really feel that, and I can't believe it, but that's what I'm starting to sort of recognize. And just last night, my husband and I were talking about some stuff. There's a thing going on with his family that's been going on for a while. It's with his brother, and it's been pretty hard to sort of observe. And I've done some work on it, but not a whole lot of work. But I went to bed last night and I woke up today, and all morning I've been doing work. And I've just been putting everything up for healing, but based on of course, healing myself. So I've said to everyone in the family, We are spirit, whole and innocent, all is forgiven and released. So I'm going through everybody, and I'm going through shifting that reality, looking at it from the standpoint that we are only love, that there is only one, that there is no one else, and really meaning it. It's new for me. It's really new for me to be, it's not that I haven't been releasing and letting go before, but this is the first time that I've actually said, okay, Christine, recognizing I'm in a little bit of a different place and being motivated, I haven't been motivated just for me, but in the past, I've always been motivated for others. But this morning, I feel so much more motivated to do the work for others like I've never been motivated before, right? So and then I read this and I'm like, yeah, that's what's happening here. It's like, every loving thought that is the Son of God ever had is eternal. These are completely loving thoughts. Even though I was talking to God this morning saying some of this still feels a little bit uncomfortable because I still have some feelings with regard to what's been going on, judgments, but not harsh judgments, but they're still there. But I can really feel that I'm letting them go because I'm like, no, you know what? This is me. This is me. It's showing up. I can't believe that's showing up as me, right? Because it's not conscious. But it's like, okay, I don't care anymore. I don't even have to really fully understand this because I don't always fully understand. I'd be lying if I said I did. But it's like, okay, but you know what? I have so much trust and so much faith and so much surrender, so much of it. Like, you know what? I trust you. I trust you, God. I trust myself because we're one. I really feel like that. I really feel this confidence all of a sudden. And I'm like, no. So I do believe. I really do. I'm very confident. So I'm going to be very confident in the fact that what I'm seeing is me. And I'm going to be so willing. I'm going to put any judgments, any of them, any thoughts, I'm rooting them out. And I'm just putting it all on the altar and I'm saying over and over, hope and open, but we are spirit, whole and innocent. All is forgiven and released to each one individually. And I'll be doing letters later this afternoon, each person individually. And then I was doing other people in my life too. But this one right now is at the forefront. But I thought I can do everyone that I can possibly think of, anything that's ever come up from my childhood, all of it. And I've done a lot of that work before in forgiveness letters, but this is different. It's a shift of taking full responsibility, of letting go of the belief that there's a guilt of separation, right? That whole thing about forgiving the guilt that there's separation because there hasn't been a separation. So I know I'm talking around and about, but it all comes back to actually this passage because it talks about God's only created the eternal. Therefore, there must be another world that we do not see. Right? But it's a world that I'm starting to see. It's actually a world I'm starting to see. Every loving thought that the Son of God ever had is eternal. The loving thoughts his mind perceives in the world are the world's only reality. So I'm putting love out there, love for myself, recognizing that there's been no sin, that there's nothing's happened. It's not real. Okay, this is profound for me, just FYI. You guys have probably been doing this a lot longer than me. but yeah, the real world can actually be perceived. All that is necessary is a willingness to perceive nothing else. I'm actually willing to perceive nothing else. You have to understand, I'm a bit shocked. I never thought, seriously, right? Because I thought maybe it's probably not in this lifetime. I'd love to sort of wake up and then I'm like, maybe I can. Maybe I can, right? Like everything true is like him. Okay, perceiving only the real world will lead you to the real heaven, because it will make you capable of understanding it. Well, I'm kind of saying the same thing again, but I'm starting to perceive the fact that it's not real. And that I can forgive it all, because it isn't real. And I'll forgive myself, even though it looks pretty scary and weird to me. Like, really? That's inside me somewhere? Those kind of behaviors, what I'm seeing? Okay, so I'm not going to judge it, though. I don't care. It's not real, but I'm going to forgive it. If I don't see anything, doesn't matter. I'm working at the level of the mind. If I see no changes, doesn't matter. I'm still doing the work. I'm doing it from my heart, and I mean it. I mean it. I feel it. I'm not just saying it. I mean it, right? So opposites don't exist. The denial of the opposite of goodness enables you to recognize a condition in which opposites do not exist. This is the condition of knowledge. Well, I kind of feel like I'm not going to be opposite anymore. I'm only going to look for the good. I'm only going to work in the good. I'm not going to see the bad. To believe that you can perceive the real world is to believe that you know, that you can know yourself. You can know God because it is His will to be known. It's His will to be known. The real world is all that the Holy Spirit has saved for you out of what you have made. And to perceive only this is salvation, because it is the recognition that reality is only what is true. And I keep putting out there, I have all last year, I just want to know the truth that will set us free, the truth that is true for everybody. And when I was putting that out there, I didn't really recognize what I was putting out. You know, wanting to see with Christ vision, having Christ knowing. But it's all coming together in recognizing there is only one, and actually being able to apply it that way. So I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for you guys. I'm grateful to be here. And I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful to share the benefits. I feel this real fire under the butt to keep going, because this is good, because like we're going to help each other. We're going to help everybody. Right? So I actually kind of get it. Then I haven't been doing a lot of the actual A Course in Miracles readings, just so that you guys know that. This is really my beginning, Linda. Even though I signed up last year, I only made a couple classes, and then I've only been here a couple classes. So my exposure has been through Masterful Living, through The Disappearance of the Universe, the trilogy, his other books, and now this. So I'm just sharing that because it's not like I'm well-versed in the actual book of A Course in Miracles. But somehow, through all of this other work that I've been doing, it's actually all coming together. And I was even doing this morning the pink rays work prayers, and I've been doing them for a while. It was like I read them for the first time today. One of them was so appropriate. I was like, oh my goodness. And I love that, the synchronicity of it all. And it was all about, you know, helping others, stepping into it, showing up, handing it over, helping others, which is how I kind of feel about this whole thing. So anyways, thank you for listening. I know that was a long share, but it's a big one for me. So yeah.
Thank you, Christine.
You're welcome.
I have a question.
Yes.
In the third paragraph toward the bottom, it reads, to establish your personal autonomy, you tried to create unlike your father, believing that what you made is capable of being unlike him. However, I don't understand what it says.
Well, I think it's a little bit like what Carla was saying earlier when I said um, it's always helpful, but it's not always fun. It's my ego that's making that idea of it's not fun or it's uncomfortable or whatever judgment. That's my ego.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm believing that, then I'm believing unlike the Father. When I'm willing to let that go, and it can be in a moment to moment thing, you know, I can be willing this moment and then pick it up again the next moment. But as long as I continue to be willing to let it go and to really see with Christ's vision, like Christine was talking about, and surrender all of it and forgive all of it, then it's okay. It's okay if I pick it up again because I am determined to see. I'm determined to surrender to God's will. I'm determined to forgive it all, including myself.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Dawn. And anybody else like to share? Go ahead, Rand.
I was just truly inspired by what Christine had to say. It just really, truly reminded me that it really doesn't matter what course you take. The whole goal is this connection with Spirit and let Spirit working through you. And that's what it's truly all about. Even in the course, it says, throw this course away. You are here. This is the goal, is this connection with Spirit. It's not about the course. It's that connection. And so thank you for reminding me of that, Christine. Beautiful job, beautiful share. That's what I want to let you know. Loved hearing it. Very inspiring.
Thank you, Rand. Thank you.
Linda, this is Marjorie. I had a question.
Hi, Marjorie. Go ahead.
Hi. I'm not sure I understand what the Course means when they say that opposites are not real. Because it seems like God created this world, and this world is full of opposites. So, you know, polarity. So I don't understand what that means.
Well, I don't really feel that God did create this world. I feel that we created this world because we thought it might be fun to come and play in this experience of contrast, where there's good and evil, where there's happy and sad, where there's joy and despair. And he's just a parent watching his kid on a playground. So the opposites are how we are learning, how we are experiencing this world that we created. And he's just the parent watching his kids play on the playground. That's how I feel about it. That's my understanding of what the Course is saying, that there are no opposites, that it's just something that we created.
Okay, I was thinking in terms of the planet and the opposite of the seasons and the night and day and up and down, left and right, north and south, you know, all these kinds of different opposites that we experience in the physical realm.
Mm-hmm.
And if God didn't create that, who did?
We did. We did, but we're a part of God.
Okay,
So
we created the planet.
we
The
created
ego.
all of it. It's none of it is real. It's just a thought in the mind of God, in
Okay.
our mind.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Robin.
Well, another thought concerning Marjorie's question is the word duality. I think that's what I've learned from A Course in Miracles, that they're in truth and in the eternal love of God, there is no duality. There is no good and evil. There is no wrong and right. There is no left and right or up and down. That's the part that we have made up. And that there is a place, I don't know if there's a way to find out, there is a sentence that long ago, and I've mentioned it before, that was so helpful to me in using only loving thoughts are true. I mean, it was just sort of like, well, you can just take an eraser in that big universe and erase all the untrue thoughts, knowing that only the loving thoughts are true. And then this morning, I mean, when I read that, I just said, oh, I'm so glad to see that phrase again. It is in another place in the text, I believe. And for me, it's also like only loving thoughts are true, and only loving thoughts are real, and only loving thoughts are eternal. They never die. All this other stuff, it's everything else is physical form. It may die or not, but really it's perishable. So I don't know if that's helpful, Marjorie. The other thing I was too inspired, Christine. So glad you're here. And I love it when we get excited about something for ourselves, and it's that aha, and we explain it to others, and everybody's like, okay, so what's new? But I'm like, well, duh, I finally got it. And so I can just appreciate where you are. And the other piece is, as Rand says, it's someplace, maybe the last paragraph says, just put the book down, everything else you've ever learned, and come empty-handed. And for me, a mantra is resting in spirit, or resting in love, and resting. There's nothing to do. If I can, here I go. I'm sorry, folks. If I can, as I'm out there figuring out and making the plans, if I can come back to center, if I can calm myself to be in that quiet, focused place of love, it will unfold, and when it happens, in little moments of my life, I'm just like, it's just this quiet, joyful, you can't explain. So, anyway, I would certainly like to be living from that from moment to moment. I'm realizing that resting and letting go and acknowledging the upset, but turning it over. And I feel like I've been doing this for years, but I'm feeling like I'm just starting my journey. So, and just to, Rand, I just love that, it's like, I guess the piece that's really important for me now is knowing that this is my path and my journey, and there is never any separation. There's nothing that I can do that will separate me from that mystical whatever we're all yearning for. So I'm getting that, and it feels so good. And it still doesn't mean that fear and overwhelm, I'm learning I might be a 6. And when it says you live in fear and overwhelm and worry and anxiety, I'm like, oh my God. Well, maybe we all do to certain levels, but that's where and so having the truth come to me that no matter what, there's never any separation. And even if I walk into hell, I've got that power that I'm using Spirit's power to manifest or experience that. And it's my learning. So anyway, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin. I just wanted to mention that what you said, it's right in the introduction where he says, nothing real can be threatened and nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. Yeah,
Yes, but there's also a phrase that says only loving thoughts are
Love is
true.
real.
And
Yes.
I don't know what the rest of it said or the paragraph.
Yes.
Yeah, but yes. Yeah, thank you,
You're
Linda.
welcome. And then I also wanted to read, Dawn said, Marjorie, your question is understandable. And as mentioned, the book Disappearance of the Universe by Gary Renard addresses a lot of questions. She's just now halfway through it, and it's a great resource. And Caroline says she's definitely going to read it. And Caroline, you had your hand raised. If you would like to, oh, she's got too much background noise where she is right now. All right. Leslie, go ahead. I saw you had your hand raised as well.
Hello, everyone. Carla, I'm glad you mentioned in the beginning that you know that people are just being kind when they say, oh, I'm so sorry that you broke your ankle. I'm so sorry that you had that operation, because I tend to say that. And you're right that it's just, at least for me, it's just me being kind, trying to show kindness, trying to show compassion. And I'm glad that you recognize that in people that have said that to you. That was neat. And I'm glad to see your face, and I'm glad that you are on the road to recovery. So that's great news. I just wanted to talk a little bit about sentence 2 and 3 in the first paragraph. And I know, I think Christine, you may have talked about this. God created only the eternal, and everything you see is perishable. Therefore, there must be another world you do not see. And I had a really interesting aha moment over the weekend, because I think most of us know my husband's recovering from surgery, so he's usually my house husband, so I'm having to do the laundry with joy in my heart. It's all good. And I have this long sleeve t-shirt that I probably have had for at least 8 years. I mean, I just love it. I love the color. It's so soft now because it's been washed so many times. Well, it's starting to get holes in it. And I was just looking at it when I was folding it, and I saw this hole in it, and I was just like, where did it go? Where did the material go? And just when I read that line, that everything you see is perishable, you know, ashes to ashes, dust to dust, everything is perishable. Everything is going to be gone. And just looking at that shirt, I was just, I don't know, I felt like a child. I was just like, but where did it go? Where did that material go? I don't get it. And yet I know that if everything is energy, you know, it's just, it is gone now. And I'm real excited for you, Christine, because it sounds like you had a huge aha moment. And sometimes I feel like, wait, what? I don't get it. I mean, because I can read this, that the real world can actually be perceived. All that is necessary is a willingness to perceive nothing else. And I'm like, huh? It's like, I feel like I'm the most willing person there is. And therefore, there must be another world you do not see. And it's like, I can read those words and I kind of get it a little bit, I don't even know if I want to say intellectually. And I believe it, but sometimes I feel like I have to be dead to really get it. Does that make sense? Like, okay, I do get it, but that's my spiritual self, which I know once this body is laid to rest, then I'll get it. And a lot of times I will have the thought, I am just spirit. You know, I am just spirit. But other times I'm just like, I don't get it. So this was kind of a challenging, even though it was really short, and I was grateful it was short because I was kind of, and I hardly took any notes. It's, you know, paragraph 3, sentence 8, yet everything true is like him, with a capital H. Everything true is like him. But the truth we can't necessarily see, right? I get it, but I don't get it, if that makes sense. But the t-shirt was very powerful. I felt like I was like, God gave me an example that I could actually hold on to. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you, everybody. And I was really excited. I told myself I wasn't going to talk because I wanted to hear everybody else's explanations on this section. So thank you, Robin. Thank you, everybody that's talked. I appreciate you all. Thank
you, Leslie. I love the t-shirt. That's awesome. And that I could just like hear and feel that childlike wonder, like, where did it go? There was material there last week. Where did it go? I love that. Thank you. Carla.
Maybe you're loving that t-shirt to a higher vibration and it's disappearing from appearance. Anyhow, I kind of want to address something I think was asked earlier and you responded, Linda. And then I was shown this line. You do not know the difference between what you have made and what God created. And so you do not know the difference you have made and what you created. So that really addressed, I think, that question, like, how can this, whatever the question was, that how is this possible? And it's the meaning. It's the meaning we give so much stuff that the mind, without realizing it, we think it's, oh yeah, we learned that, right? And who did we learn it from? You know, who do we question that? Do we question where, how we learned it? Who is the teacher in the way? The spirit, the true self, or the ego mind, right? And that's very, what's the word? And the word that comes to me is insidious, where we just go through the day doing stuff like we, drive somewhere. We know how to tie our shoes, right? And we know how to do all this stuff. And like, I'm not saying ego taught us how to tie our shoes, right? But we don't question how we know stuff, right? And that is really the biggest key for me, is to question everything you think you know. And I wanted to address something that Christine said, that I think I texted it to you, but because you talked about willingness a couple times, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna let that go, because you talked about several things, and then it came back to the willingness, and I'm like, I've been shown, I got it, not got it, but I send her something, and that this is really felt really huge for me. That willingness is really the key to everything, because all it takes is a teeny little bit of willingness, as it says in the beginning of the course, and then it goes on to be great willingness, and that's willingness. But I was told this: your healing is only limited by your willingness. So grow your willingness until you are fully healed. And that's what I do in this annual experience, in the operation, and the whatever. And now I've been alone in the house. I can't even leave the house for, it's been about 2 weeks probably. And it's all fine. People come help or ask, respond to my requests, or, Rand sent me something, so kind of, but not to get stuck on what's happening to them alone, or in appearance, right? Because it's not even really alone. And that not to get stuck on the appearance, that people are coming to help me. It is happening. And I don't know, I am supported. So, and even in the learning the wellness, I am supported. So I kind of digressed from the book, but okay, thank you.
Thank you, Carla. I just wanted to share too that in our community call on Saturday, Carla shared something that I've been reading out loud and saying out loud to myself over and over and over since she said it. And that was an affirmation that she has that says, I am willing to consider what I think impossible is possible. And that kind of, it covers all of it. you know, because I think it's impossible to not have contrast and to not have opposites and to not have things pop up in my life that feel challenging or have me worried or concerned or anxious. And I am willing to consider that it's possible.
Would you repeat that affirmation, please?
Yeah. I am willing to consider what I think impossible is possible.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Dawn.
And thanks, Carla, for the original statement.
Yeah.
This is Marjorie again.
Hi, Marge.
Yeah, thank you everyone for sharing. It's very helpful to hear all these different perspectives. Thank you. I think what I'm also questioning, I'm not sure, Carla, where you read that about about questioning everything, whether that came from A Course in Miracles or that's something else. But yeah, but I do question everything, and I think that that's a good thing. And I'm just, you know, kind of looking at A Course in Miracles as one text, sacred text, and the Bible is a sacred text, and there are many, many, many other sacred texts. And even within the sacred text, they contradict themselves a lot. You know, they'll say one thing in one section, and then they read another section that appears to contradict what they had just said, you know, in the other section. But I think that's kind of what I'm pointing to when I talk about opposites or polarity or duality or whatever, however you want to call it. In fact, it's not even duality. It's more than just two. Many times it's many, many, many perspectives. You know, and I kind of think that about questioning, I think that I attribute that to the mystery that I think, I say I think, I don't know. From my experience, if I think that I know God, then that's a perception that is partially true. I can know God from my own experience. I can know God as much as I can know God. But there's a lot that I cannot know, that is mysterious, that is something that I will never know in this form. So I don't know. I think from my perspective, a lot of these questions I feel are helpful because they help to demonstrate or show that it takes many, many, many perspectives, and that all perspectives are partially true, and that there is some truth in everything, and that there is that it's probably not possible for one person to know everything. So that's just kind of my share. But I do enjoy reading the Course in Miracles, and I enjoy reading other sacred texts as well, including the Bible. And I think from the Bible, the Genesis story is kind of where it points to that God himself or herself created the heavens and the earth and separated night from day. And that God was born out of the darkness. The void was there first. So all of these things to me are just part of me trying to, or being willing to understand more and more. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Marjorie. Yeah, I think questions can be really helpful because it's like having that curious mind, like Leslie was talking about with the t-shirt,
Mm-hmm.
that allows us to tap into that innocence and dive further into feeling our way through the world instead of trying to figure it out. you know, so many perspectives are really are there for me. It's just the meaning or the opinion that somebody has about something.
Mhm.
My husband and I were just having this conversation. Um, we watched that movie about those three African American women that um, helped to launch the space program. And he said, why are we not aware of this? I said, because the people that wrote the textbooks that we learned from in school were white men. They weren't interested in telling the story of what three Black women did that
Mhm.
helped to launch those, you know, that space program. It's all about someone's perspective. So yeah, it's fun to look at those things and come at them with a innocent, childlike wonder.
Mm. Curiosity.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you, Marjorie.
thank you.
Mhm. And anybody else like to share? Leslie and then Carla.
I just have a quick question for Christine. Christine, you said we are spirit, whole, and innocent. And then what was the last part of it?
All is forgiven and released.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's very similar. The premise is that it's very similar to the Ho'oponopono.
Mhm.
It's sort of a different way of saying it. It came from one of the Gary Renard books. I'm not sure which one. I don't think it was Disappearance. I think it was one of the other two. But that one stuck with me. I really like that. So I use it all the time.
Thank you. Yes, I say Ho'oponopono a lot, and this will be a nice addition.
Yeah, yeah, no problem.
Speaking of perspectives, I know that Jennifer has had conversations with Gary Renard and with other experts in the field of Course in Miracles, and it's interesting to listen to some of those discussions because many times they disagree amongst themselves about the interpretations of A Course in Miracles. You know, so just like it would be interesting to listen to Bible scholars, you know, over the centuries who have disagreed about the text and so forth and so on. So it makes it fun.
Yeah, it does. Carla, you had your hand raised?
I was just going to ask you about the name of that movie. Is that Hidden Figures?
Yes.
Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Thanks for saying it because I couldn't remember it off the top of my head what the name of the movie was. It was a really good movie. I would recommend it. Who else would like to share? Go ahead, Carla. Oh, you just shut off your video. There you are.
Okay, got it back. So I was in the third paragraph, the first line. The ego may see some good, but never only good. And see that is so important because sometimes I know I'll speak for myself that I get caught up in first off, and then also guess like it says seeing like perceiving good is it's really the duality really, but yet we like with looking for the good, we're looking for the joy, we're looking for the helpfulness, the pleasant feeling, the truth of who we are, right? And my experience is I'm feeling the good, with joy or whatever, and because there's no good or bad, right? Really. I don't know how to put it in words because I don't want to give power to the ego. That sometimes I've gotten pulled in my attention, my focus by looking. Well, first off, I was looking for the good, right? It's all good. That what you don't have to look for it. It's like if it's happening, it's good, even if it doesn't seem like it's good. If it's happening, and then so when I look for the good, when I'm thinking, oh, this is good, then sometimes my experience is I get pulled in by the ego, and ego uses. I don't know. I don't like to give it power, but my perception is the awareness, that awareness. The ego mind uses everything for its own agenda, right? So when we get drawn into the good, what we think is good, what we think is right, then somehow it shifts it to be something else. And it's so challenging to, as this line showed me, is that sometimes we're there, we've been there a while, and the longer we're there, right, the harder it is to like go back to the truth that everything's good, right, or whatever. That to be cognizant of the mind and to notice all the time, oh, am I doing this for, I think I love cheesecake, right? And I'm not going to eat a whole friggin' cheesecake, right? And it's okay if I eat like a piece. I mean, it's not even okay because there's no good or bad in anything. And if I ate a whole cheesecake, I'd probably be pretty miserable. And that'd be a sign to tell me, oh, where did you go? Why were you eating that cheesecake? What's going on? So it seems like something I love and enjoy, which is fine to love and enjoy it. But then it took me down this road to something else. And so it's really cognizant because the ego sees some good. And I think that's like the lure to get us caught up in ego thinking. They can be very, I don't say it's challenging, but once we get in it, really mesh in it, because we think we created it and we're doing it, and it's something that, it's something. We give it the meaning that's whatever it is. And it's often challenging to get back to the truth because we're so enmeshed in it. I don't know if I was clear. I hope I was. I kind of feel like I got a little distracted. So thank you.
Very clear. Thank you, Carla. Go ahead, Leslie.
You were very clear, Carla. What I took from your share was just what the Course says, that if we're not extremely vigilant about our thoughts and that we're far too tolerant of mind wandering, the ego can suck us in. I mean, perfect example, just real quick. The weekend I had was not the greatest. My husband is still recovering. He's been in a bad mood. He can't do anything. I kind of allowed myself to get in a bad mood with him. I talked to my mom Monday morning. We had our little spiritual guru stuff. We talked, and I'm feeling back in spirit again. I'm feeling lovely about everything. I go to my appointment on Monday. It's at 8:15. I get there at 10 to 8. And I was still mad from a month ago when I wanted my 7:45 appointment. And before I even blinked my eyes, and I'm just because I trust all of you, I can tell you this because this is really embarrassing. She told me that, and I rolled my eyes. And her face, I didn't even turn my back and then roll my eyes. I rolled my face to her face. Oh, and then I sat back in the chair, and then I was just mortified. I'm like, where did that ego come from? I mean, it just like snuck right in there. And then I had to apologize, and then I felt terrible. It's just because I didn't get my way. I wanted my way. I was acting like a 2-year-old because I didn't get my way, and ego just took over. But I'm grateful for the experience because everything is a learning opportunity, and I am reading for the second time the Surrender Experiment, which I just love. I know Rand and Linda, both you guys have read it, and I feel like I could take notes on it. I mean, it's such a powerful book as far as he just talks about that, as far as being open-hearted. Thank you, Robin, and just allowing the energy to pass through you. And had I been present and done that, I could have just let that energy, okay, I'm feeling disappointed, and it's okay. I mean, my boss doesn't care if I'm late. I had nowhere to be. I mean, so I could have sat there and meditated for 25 minutes, you know, instead of, but I just love that. What I'm learning from that book is just, again, take the reality. It's all good, and just breathe through it and just allow life to happen moment by moment to moment, whether you like it or not. Just allow it to happen. Allow life to unfold. And that is my intention, to allow life to unfold as it does. And for me, not to lose my peace about it, because I didn't lose my peace about it. I threw my peace away with that eye rolling incident. You know, it's like I threw it away. I didn't protect it at all. So I'm going to do better. Thank you. I'm glad I can share with you guys.
Me too, Leslie. No secrets here and no judgment. Go ahead, Christine.
Yeah, I just a couple things, because I know we're almost at the end, but I just made a few notes just with regard to some of the stuff that was said. And what came up for me, just to sort of share, was I think what's happening is when I'm doing this work, as I've been doing the work for a few years, what keeps me going is, I partner up. So there's an inner knowing that comes with the work as I'm doing it, which guides me. It's the practice, it's the application, and then it's the results. So there's the recognition, because it's what I've affirmed, is show me, right? Show me so I can recognize, so then I can respond, right? Rather than the 2x4 to the head, I said, I said, just really make it clear to me. I promise I will respond. I'll recognize, I'll respond. And so that happens for me all the time, right? So it's that openness, that willingness, and then it's the interchanges as well. So it's changed the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So again, it's with the practice, the willingness, the partnering up, getting out of my own way, and then the results. That's how it works for me. I just, that's, and because I think I always put out there, to show me the truth that is true for everyone, the truth that will set me free. And I keep getting that. So I don't know, that's just something I wanted to put out there, as that's how I kind of know that for me, it's working and I'm on the right path. And the stuff that I get is, for me, it's that inner knowing. It's that knowing. So anyways, I don't know. That was just, I wanted to share that. I know we're on time, sorry.
Thank you, Christine. So we are at time, so I'm going to let you know that we're going to finish chapter 11 next week. So it's section 8, the problem and the answer, which is 3.5 pages long, way longer than this last one, but we can do it. We have a whole week to read it all. So, and I'm going to read the Pathways of Light Insights to my daily lesson today, which today I'm on lesson 42. God is my strength, vision is his gift. Remembering the earlier lesson that God goes with me wherever I go, This lesson tells me that I always have his strength and his vision. I can never be without them. I am always safe, invulnerable, and have the ability to see innocence, the wholeness, the holiness that God sees. If I am feeling vulnerable in any way, if I am not seeing innocence, then I am believing a false image of what I am. That is all. It is simply a false belief that needs to be undone. I am grateful to know this because beliefs can be changed. This is my salvation. If beliefs could not be changed, I would be stuck forever in this hellish world of conflict, fear, pain, and death. Yet all this that I perceive is only the effect of a false belief. The strength of God is in me to help me let it go. I do not have to do it by sheer determination, relying on my own strength. As it says in another lesson, if you believe you must rely on your own strength, you have every reason to be fearful. Gratefully, this lesson reminds me that God is my strength. I am not on my own. He has never left me. His strength has never left me. Anytime a problem appears to be insurmountable, it is not because I don't have the strength to pass through it. It is because I am unwilling to accept God's strength. This unwillingness may be because I believe I am unworthy of his strength. Or it may be like a teenage temper tantrum saying, I'd rather do it myself. Perhaps it is some kind of masochistic pride in thinking I have the ability to work this out without God's help. I can be independent. This pride is masochistic because it insists on being separate from my source of strength and thus vulnerable, weak, and the victim of all kinds of dire circumstances. I can choose differently. I can choose to remember that God is my strength and vision is his gift. His vision shows me my invulnerability and my holiness. It shows me the holiness of everything I look upon. With his vision, I can see the gates of heaven. His vision brings me to the threshold, and his strength takes me in and holds me safely in God's arms. Whether or not I feel God's strength in any particular moment does not matter. His strength is still with me. Each time I remind myself of this today, it becomes a little easier to feel his strength working in me, to feel his peace. I am truly grateful. God is my strength. Vision is his gift. This vision opens me to the truth. I can apply opening to God's vision and God's strength to every experience I have today. It helps me step back and remember I do not know on my own. Why would I use the weakness of the ego when I have the strength of God available to apply to every circumstance? The strength and vision of God is available to me if I am willing to step back and open up to it. I am willing to practice today. I have just one thing to practice, opening up to the strength and vision of God. I can let the light be turned on in my mind. It will help me see clearly. It will help me be of service in a way that is most appropriate. I do not know on my own, but with God, true vision is mine. It is his gift. I will receive hundreds of opportunities today to accept his gift. This is my practice. This is the means of my awakening. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. I can open to the truth today. I can receive God's peace. God is my strength. Vision is his gift. That's it. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Linda.
You're welcome. Much love to you all.
Love to you all.
See you soon.
See you soon.
Yeah.